Hello guys, if you've seen my PizzaTower videos for a while, you know that the game is really fun to play. So that's why in this video, I'm going to be ranking every PizzaTower level in floor 1 from P to B. And you're probably wondering, what happened to C and D? To be honest, there really isn't a bad level in PizzaTower, or at least one I've seen so far. So that's why I'm going from P to B in this tier list. And I don't really have a set criteria for ranking each level, so I'm just going to talk about each thing I liked about each level and what I didn't like about each level. So let's get to the tier list. So to start off, we have Tutorial. This level does a fantastic job of teaching us what PizzaTower is all about. You're just thrown into this level right as you play the game or start a new file. And one of the best things is the Pizza Pasta song. It really does a great job teaching the player the mechanics of the game and lets you know you're in for a fun time. It also does a really great job teaching you some advanced movement techniques like dashing and then running, or maybe even long jumping to get across long gaps in other levels. And it also doesn't teach the player all the mechanics, just so the player doesn't get overwhelmed with all the techniques, and makes the player find out themselves as they play. The only bad thing about the tutorial is that you're required to play it every time you start a new file. There is absolutely no way to skip it. So every time you speedrun the game, you have to do the tutorial. But it at least encourages you to finish the tutorial fast, as if you finish it before 1 minute and 45 seconds, it unlocks all lap 2 portals early. Overall, I have no big complaints about the tutorial, as it does a great job teaching the player all of what they need to know before going into other levels. So I'm gonna put it in S tier. Next, we got the first level you're introduced to after finishing the tutorial, John Gutter. John Gutter is one of those levels most players go straight into right after they finish the tutorial. This level does a fantastic job making you use some mechanics that they taught you in the tutorial. Like the area where you gotta slam into the metal block from a high place, and super jump at the vertical section. It makes the player remember the moves and knows that they have to use them to progress through the level. It also introduces some new elements like enemies, like the Fork Knights, and the monkeys that drop banana peels that I mad annoying because I want to beat the There really is no issues with the level, except that's kinda, I don't know, blank? I feel like John Gutter is just a blank level, and there really isn't anything to look at throughout the level. Other than that small complaint, I really like John Gutter, and I think it's a really great starter level. So that's why I'm gonna put it in S tier. Now we got Pizzascape. Pizzascape is one of those levels where it's just fun to play over and over again. And not only that, but it brings out one of the main things to this level, the night transformation. It's a really fun introduction to transformations, and it feels so well put in this level, since the level is literally a castle. The level just fits in so well with the transformation, and not only that, but the layout feels so well made. It's kind of hard to explain, but when you play the level, it just feels so smooth to go through. And not only that, the main reason why I like this level so much is the music. When you enter the level, it starts off with Hot Spaghetti, which sounds so good on its own. But halfway throughout the level, it hits you with Cold Spaghetti, making the level so much better. Especially at the part where it hits you with the... There really are no massive complaints nor small complaints with this level. It's just so well laid out, and the transformation fits in so well this level, and everything about it is perfect. That's why I'm putting Pizzascape in P tier. Next up, we got Ancient Cheese. Now, Ancient Cheese is a pretty cool level overall, but it's not really the best either. Ancient Cheese's main mechanic is these little cheese blocks where if you step on them, they break. So basically, it's encouraging you to run even though that's the main part of the game. It also introduces bombs, which you have to pick up and throw at these goofy rats just to pass certain areas. And the layout of the level is kinda meh, as the level is just mostly cheese, which makes sense with the title. I mostly thought that it would introduce something really new and maybe take place somewhere, I don't know, ancient? Overall, this level really doesn't fit well with the game, but it's still pretty good. The mechanics don't really add much to the level, and most of the time, it doesn't feel right being in the game. So that's why I'm putting it in B tier. Now we have Blood Sauce Dungeon. Blood Sauce Dungeon was one of those levels where it just clicked in with PizzaTower. The theme of the map is well made, as it's basically a castle, kind of like Pizzascape but with a twist. The twist is that you're going down at the castle, making you go to the dungeon area of the castle. After you trigger pizza time, you have to go all the way back up, making you need to have fast reaction time, making these quick decisions on what to do and where to go. But there are many problems with this level, and the biggest ones are the achievements. 2 of them are basically impossible, as you need to avoid lava and pizza cutters. You know how hard it is to avoid those things when the map is filled with them? Now I feel like that is the only big complaint that I have for this level, as everything else is okay. There really isn't anything special about this level except for the fact that it just makes you go to the bottom and to the top. So that's why I'm putting Blood Sauce Dungeon in A tier. Finally, we have the Pepperman boss. This boss fight does a fantastic job of introducing the player to boss fights in the game, as you need to beat it to get to the next floor. The only problem I have is that his moves are really simple. All he does is just try and ram into you and jump around. The only move that has a twist to it is when you have to create a sculpture making him vulnerable. But basically, all that is just mashing down the dash button before he gets to you. Now I know it's only the first boss in the game, but something about it just doesn't feel right. I think that's only me, but for now, I'm only putting it in A tier. That's the ranking for Floor 1. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and comment on what you thought about my tier list. If I missed anything out, please let me know in the comments. So that's it for this video. See you next time.